All right, we're live.
All
Well,
right.
hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Persuasion by the Pint. I'm Jonathan Taylor, along with
Sean McCool.
Sean. Today, we got a short little segment, a little flight of persuasion. We're going to be talking about some things related to persuasive presentations.
I like it.
Also, some other things, some Black Friday takeaways. Maybe if we'll get into those. So it's gonna be fun. I love these episodes. Just go anywhere we want to with these.
Yeah.
We're not structured.
No
Gonna have
guidelines.
some guest expert on the other end telling us what.
Right. Telling us what they think about the world. Who cares what they think?
Exactly. It's all about where we want to go. So
Exactly.
Ultimately, it's about the beer that we want to drink, and so.
Yeah. So with that, we might as well just jump into the beers.
That's right. Exactly.
So what do you have on your end?
So I am delving into another of the Guilty Pleasure series.
Okay.
I mentioned this on the last episode.
So is that a variety pack? I thought that
it
was
is.
like
It's a variety pack. So you get, and I'll just mention this cool little box. And this just came out this week at the local establishment, the Wicked Weed Brewing Bourbon Barrel Guilty Pleasure Variety Pack Series. And
so that's the stuff that's laced with weed, right?
Yes, I hope so.
It's got THC in it.
I don't think so. No, that is not correct. But it might improve the sales. They could probably knock up another $5 on that.
Oh, for sure. Now with Delta 8.
No, this is a 4-pack, and I love the packaging. As I mentioned in the last episode, it's like nice little box here.
So is each side one of the beers?
Yes, each side is one of the beers.
Nice. Yeah.
So here are the different flavors, and I'm going to mention the one that I'm having today. They have the s'mores, the German chocolate cake, the espresso cheesecake, which that's the one I had on the last episode.
Yes.
And then they have the milk and cookies. The milk and cookies. All of these range from either the 11.6 to 12.2. I have on this episode, I have the German chocolate cake.
All right. I like it. Guilty Pleasures, German chocolate cake. I like it.
11.6 ABV. But yes, I love the packaging.
So you started on the last episode with the espresso cheesecake or whatever it was called?
Yes, the espresso cheesecake. But then halfway through,
I was going to say, you had a second one on there.
Yes. I was very stressed on the last episode, getting bombarded with a couple of calls there in the middle.
So what was the second one you had?
The second one was the milk and cookies that
How was that?
It was good. Yeah. It wasn't as good as I got to tell you, it wasn't as good as the cheesecake. The cheesecake was really good. The espresso cheesecake was awesome. Milk and cookies,
Yeah.
Excuse me. I'd probably give that one I would probably give the milk and cookies a 4.2. The cheesecake was a solid 4.8.
Right.
And I haven't had this one.
Now you're doing German chocolate.
German chocolate on this one.
All right. So you go ahead and pour. I'll start talking about mine.
All right.
So same company as I had on the last episode, Real Ale. I also had a variety pack. So this is, you may recognize it from, I think, 2 episodes ago, the Commissar, which is a Russian Imperial Stout. This is the one that I made with the 5 o'clock cocktail drink. The ice cream and everything else.
Oh, yes. It looked delightful.
But I haven't had just the Commissar, I think, by itself. So this is a Russian Imperial Stout, comes in about 9.8%. And it's, it's just the next level above stout. So we'll see how this one.
So for our listeners back, this was last week, right? Where you had the mix.
Yes. So 2 episodes ago, 3 episodes ago.
Yep. You have to go back and see that one. Oh, that's
beautiful. So we had the 5 o'clock cocktail, which was like ice cream, stout beer, and 2 other liquors. All right. So cheers.
Look at that. Cheers.
Yeah.
Wait. Here we go.
Hold up. Wait. Oh.
There we go.
There we go. All right.
How much had on yours?
No, it's I think the difference is too the glasses pour different. I'm supposed to be drinking in the glass you're drinking in,
Yep.
since this is a Russian Imperial Stout, but
Absolutely.
I didn't want to dirty another glass. So here we are with a regular, 12-ounce glass. Which, by the way, you can get with the personalized engraving on man crates if you're looking for Christmas presents.
Christmas gifts.
Mancrates.com is a good place.
Too bad that ticker's not, scrolling down below.
Yeah, we should have done something like that. Not that we have any affiliate links or anything. So, oh well.
Which would be nice. If we had an affiliate link, it'd be scrolling across.
Yes, but since we don't really care. Like you gotta
we don't care. We're not making a dime, so we don't care.
You gotta fend for yourself.
Hold that glass up. That's cool, though.
Yeah,
I want to see that one more time.
This is cool. It's called mancrates.com, and one of the many different varieties you can get is you get 2 of these glasses, personalized engraving with this bottle opener, the 50 cal.
Love that
bottle opener.
My favorite. I would order a whole subscription just.
And it all comes in a Army ammo can, like the Army ammo can, which you can use for all kinds of things. And they're not that much. It's like $50 for the set, and that's personalized, so it's not too bad at all. My daughter actually got that for her boyfriend. So,
being a hunter and everything, I bet he
he'll like it. Hopefully, he's not listening to this show. I might have just spoiled Christmas.
Whoops.
Eek.
All right, we'll cut that out. All right. So ratings, you have it by itself now. There's no mix. How is this beverage?
So the label says striking roastiness and hops command your attention. It's a pretty weak copy, but it's interesting. This, 9.8% alcohol. So it's not as sweet as some of the Russian Imperial Stouts.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely toastier and roastier. So
toastier and roastier. I love it when those go together.
Yeah, it's definitely got that little bit of a smoky, roasty, toasty taste.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a good jingle right there. Smoky, roasty, toasty. Smoky, roasty,
jingle.
Toasty. Almost like a Quiznos commercial back in the day.
That's right. Yeah.
Smoky, roasty, toasty. No, I think it's. Oh man, I'm torn. Like it's definitely not a 5. So I'm going to give this a 4. This is much more drinkable than most Russian Imperial Stouts. So I'm going to give it a 4.8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's a solid, like if you like dark beers, it's richer than a Guinness, but just as drinkable.
Okay. Just as drinkable. Okay. All right. That's solid.
A pretty good review, right?
No, that's a great review.
German chocolate cake compared to don't compare it, like just on its own. It's hard not to compare at this point.
I know, because I love German chocolate cake. So anything, when you slap on a label, German chocolate cake, automatically you're behind the curve if you don't come up really high on my list, because that's one of my all-time favorite cakes. I don't know about you.
Does it have like the coconut taste to it?
Yes. Okay. No, this doesn't. There's no coconut taste at all.
Well, then it can't be German chocolate without the coconut.
I'm trying to taste it. I think all these things are starting to run together because I've had the
because they're all 10+% alcohol.
I had the cheesecake, the chocolate, the milk and cookies.
Just having a dessert fest over there.
At some point, yeah, I know. I probably just consumed about 1,500 calories on this show alone. So I'm just gonna give it a 4. I'm gonna give it a 4 too, because I'm not impressed. And
taste buds are probably a little numb at this point.
They are, and I apologize to Wicked Weed.
Just have to buy another pack. Start over.
I would recommend the pack as a whole, because but the thing that you don't want to do is consume it in like an hour period like we've done. That's the wrong play. So what you want to do is you want to buy this 4-pack, give it as a gift, but tell the person that, have one of these per day. don't indulge in this
Or
over.
start with one of those to get the
Yeah,
full flavor, and then work your way
exactly.
down
That's
to some other,
exactly.
less expensive, less
That's right.
strong beers.
These, I mean, even it says on the packaging, these are meant to be dessert stouts. I
Yeah,
mean, so it's not telling you to drink them one after the other, which I've done,
yeah,
and so I have failed miserably. Oh,
yeah. You're gonna have to hang out in the office there for a little while before you go
that's
home.
right. I will not be accepted back at the house for quite some time after these. But that's okay. I've got an
All right,
office right here, and we've got a show to do. So
yeah.
that's
All
all
right, well,
good.
let's do it. You're talking about a book today that I
Yeah.
had not heard of, so I'm
Hmm.
interested to hear what you have to say. I don't know. You're like a reading machine. Like you should have your own book summary service. I mean,
I
it's kind of what
should. I
our
really
show
do.
is, but and you plow through books like nobody's business. I don't know if it's all the traveling you do,
Yeah.
planes, or what, but
I think, people, because Rachel says, my wife says, you don't read all of the books that you get, do you? And I said, actually, I do go through, and, if you're talking about reading from cover to cover, the answer would be no, because I don't think that's the way you should. And I would recommend to anyone that's listening, that's not really the way you should read a business book.
yeah.
You should basically, and we've talked about this in the past. One of my all-time favorite books is The Art of what is it? The Art of Reading. Was that the book? The Art of Reading.
How to
There's a
read a
book
book?
on reading. How to yeah, it's How to Read a Book,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the book, is How to Read a Book, not The Art of Reading. I
Yeah. It's
actually
right
just
over
created
here.
my own title.
Right. Right there somewhere.
Yep. So if you know how to read the right way, and certainly the way that you read nonfiction books is not from cover to cover.
Hmm.
What you do is you go through the table of contents, you read the summary at the beginning,
Yep.
the prologue, you read the table of contents, and then you hit on the areas throughout the book that you want that are the biggest takeaways that you think you can get the most value from.
Right.
So I rarely, if I pick up a business book at Barnes and Nobles, or I ordered it off Amazon, rarely do I just pick it up and just start reading from start to finish. And no one should do that. But what you should do is, if it's a book of any value, you should go through, and the first thing you should hit is kind of the summary, the table of contents, and then kind of pick away, what are some of the things that really resonate with you, how you can utilize some of the ideas from that book. And that's what I've done with these books. So I've got several of um, Dan Rome's books. For any of our listeners who may not be familiar with Dan Rome, he did the Back of the Napkin. That was one of his first books that he ever did. I've got this book. I actually pulled it off the shelf this week. I've had this for some time. Draw to Win.
Okay.
But his overall presentation is when it comes to persuasive presentations, is doing simple drawings, right? Back of the Napkin, that was kind of his original book, where he talked about how to, communicate simple ideas, or ideas in a simple format, because
Yep.
ultimately that's what we're looking for, is like, don't convolute your message. Give it to me in a easily consumable format. And he says, one of the easiest ways to consume information is through simple drawings, simple presentations. And so that's what he talks about. That's kind of the theme of his series. But what I liked about this one, his latest book, is called The Pop-Up Pitch. And the subtitle is The 2-Hour Creative Sprint to the most persuasive presentation of your life. What I love about this is that he goes through how to create a presentation, not through PowerPoint, not through Keynote or whatever format that you're using to come across, or not creating sales copy or anything like that. His different approach is creating the ideas that market your product or your service in a very simple format. And the way he uses a story format is through storyboards. I don't know if you've for any of our listeners, if you've ever used a storyboard format, if you if you go to a bookstore, you can pick up, Moleskin, notebooks now that have basically, they're sectioned off. You can create storyboards,
Yeah.
right? So you can like kind of sketch out your ideas. And even if you're not the best drawer in the world, if you're not the best artist, you know, if you read through some of his books, the best way to communicate ideas is just he uses a lot of stick figures, right?
Yep.
To communicate ideas and to share his presentations. And what I love about this is that it's simple, it resonates with so many especially in my industry where you're trying to communicate an idea from a manufacturing standpoint, and try to present that in a way that simplifies your message in such a way that everybody's on board, from the guy that's in the purchasing department to the guy that's in the process engineer, all of those people. And so you're trying to kind of get everybody on board. And I love this because it really ties in, if you can take your ideas, put them on paper, then you can really tailor your message to whoever it is. And it doesn't take a lot of time. It's not like writing, Sean, it's not like writing sales copy.
Yeah.
It's creating presentations in a simple format so that people can understand what the point you're trying to get through.
Yeah. I mean, when I was in the financial newsletter business and we were writing sales copy, the hand-drawn graphs, because we were talking a lot about stocks and things like that, but the hand-drawn graphs always increased conversion. Like super simple, your X and Y axis and a little line and some handwritten font type thing.
Right.
People love that, like it, because it said so much in one little picture. And if people are scrolling, which they always scroll, I mean, as copywriters, we want them to read every word, but they don't.
Yeah.
But if they get, I think what happens is when people get, they kind of get pulled into a picture.
Yeah.
Then they'll start to read the copy around it.
I think so.
And then they read kind of bigger and bigger circles. So I don't think people read linear down a page. They kind of scroll. If something catches their attention, they'll read around it. If that catches their attention, they'll read a bigger circle around it. So you have to kind of be aware of that. And I think pictures do a really good job of drawing people in. And if you think about Russell Brunson and ClickFunnels, I mean, he made that company on his little sales page diagrams, the little rectangles and arrows and all that stuff, little envelopes, for emails.
Right.
Like that really, I think really helped grow ClickFunnels as much as anything. And now that's, multi-million dollar, company, multi-$100 million company.
Yeah.
But he started with such basic hand-drawn. I mean, he has incredible handwriting. It must be I don't know.
I know.
It's like crazy how well he writes on a whiteboard. But that stuff resonated with people because it was visual, simple to see. You understood exactly what was going on. And that's not even like stick figures. That's rectangles and circles and arrows.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, simple stuff like this. I don't know if you can see some of the graphics in here, but I mean, you're seeing some of the, nothing fancy, but just like communicating ideas.
Yeah.
And that's, kind of, for Dan Rome, that's the basis of a lot of his work goes back of the napkin, sketching simple ideas.
So how would you use that you're in industrial sales? Like, how would you use that? Like, do you use that?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's, that's one of the things. So one of the things that I do is, and I love this because we've talked about this with the new tablets, these remarkable tablets. So that's a really great way. You've got the iPad, you've got all the technology today that you can do simple drawings like this. Sean, you've got yours right there.
Yep.
And to me, these are amazing because you can set it, unlike the iPad, because I've got an iPad Pro, and my frustration with the iPad Pro is that there's some limitations to what you can do.
Yep.
And I don't like the screen. It's just not conducive to. It doesn't feel like pen to paper or pencil to paper, like you're making a sketch or something simple. Whereas these new Remarkable tablets I love because you can you can take the stylus or the pen and it feels like you're drawing on paper. Um, yeah, look at that. And you've got several, look at that. I mean, very simple. And you've got settings for pencil, marker,
Yep.
you know, you've got all types of different drawing applications or writing applications that you can use. You can use lined paper. You can use blank paper on that. And then what's cool about that, and Sean, you've got, you can even share that even further. But you've got, from my standpoint, what I do is I create these drawings. I send them to email. I email them over to my email account and then save those as a image file. And then I can take those images and actually upload those to something like send out cards, to postcards, or greeting cards that I send out to customers on a regular basis.
Yep.
And those are my drawings, and they're custom. They're custom drawings that are used for my specific customers. They're hand drawn for them. And so I think it's a great, to me, it's a great tool, and it's a great way to, present ideas without getting super convoluted. And nowadays, I think I think, in the time that we live with social media and people using memes all the time, attention spans are at an all-time low. And so what you're trying to do is to capture your audience's attention in a very limited time space with simple ideas. So there you go.
Yeah, so this is my Remarkable tablet. So I can literally, I could be sitting at a desk, and if they have like a TV in the conference room or whatever, well, he looks angry, whoever this guy is. Just Drew. Let me make me a little friendlier.
That's cool.
But
so you're sharing that. You're sharing that via the Remarkable app. Is that right?
Right. Yeah. So you put the Remarkable app on your MacBook or whatever, and it just sees it as another screen.
Mm-hmm.
So I can just, I can swipe, start a new page, blanks it out.
I love that. Yeah.
So, I could talk about, here's, A, B, and it keeps up pretty fast. Like, I mean, I'm just kind of doing whatever. And it keeps up pretty fast with what I'm doing, almost in real time.
Yeah.
And nobody, you've been in a lot more boardrooms than I have. I've been at more kitchen tables, probably. When you're at a kitchen table, you can have your legal pad and Sharpie, and you can kind of just show people right there at the table. But if you're in a room and it's got 4, 5, 6 people,
right,
you want it on a screen, and a lot more rooms have screens and stuff now, Apple TV,
absolutely,
or however they might join. So, you get there 5 or 10 minutes early, make sure everything works. And then you can, a lot of times it's easier to, at least for me, it's easier to answer questions using drawings than it is just verbally.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you don't even need to do the drawings can be very simplistic. I remember when I used to sell annuities that, one of the things we would do, some of the drawings we would do, it's just very, very basic stuff. It doesn't have to be art like we were talking about earlier. Like, it can just be pretty simple stuff.
Yeah, like you said,
it's almost like an attention device. Yeah, it's an attention device to get people to stay in tune and like, what's he going to draw next? It's just another form of capturing attention and keeping people focused.
Right. I always think about the guy that the creator of the Khan Academy on YouTube.
Yep.
He created a huge following, and his niche was in education, mathematics. And he created this huge following on YouTube. I mean, he started this back in 2010, I believe, where he just started, explaining things on a simple, app that, showed his screen drawings. And so what he would do, and more or less he was, working out equations and things like that, and doing, mathematical formulas online, just scratching those out, but why he explained it. So, and it just exploded. because I think that people love to what, they tune into, that visual, on screen display and people explaining the ideas. And this started out just, him simply doing this on his own. He got funded by Bill Gates and,
Well, I think
several
the other
other
thing it
companies.
does when you kind of draw as you're explaining, there's something
Yeah.
about the like in the momentness of it
Yep. Yep.
that adds some credibility like,
Hmm.
compared to like a slide deck where it's
Right.
pre-prepared and you're just flipping through slides.
Sure.
You seem like more of an authority if you can draw what you're talking about kind of at the
Hmm.
same time. And I'll say it again, like the drawings don't have to be great.
No.
It feels much more like intuitive and like you're on the fly and you really know your stuff and it's coming from deep within you or something. There's just something about it that just feels
Right.
more knowledgeable, more expert like when
Hmm.
you have the confidence to do those kind of things.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's like we were discussing on the last episode. Human beings, we try to simplify things on
Hmm.
our own because we're kind of lazy in that regard. So
Yep.
we like simple explanations. We don't like convoluted explanations.
Yeah.
So the simpler you can make something, using a drawing, presentation, um, the better.
Yeah.
The
Well,
easier it is.
right. I mean,
So
you're helping the people be lazy
right,
in a good way, right?
in a
Because
good way.
we have to convert words into pictures anyway.
Exactly.
That's what our brain does.
That's right.
So if you can help people convert the
Hmm.
words you're saying into pictures,
Yep.
and it's little things like I was looking through the free look version of Amazon on that book, the pop up pitch,
Hmm.
like just putting like a couple lines around somebody's like a stick figure's head
Yeah.
that shows like excitement.
Hmm.
Like you instantly know what's going on there. Like, they're excited,
Sure.
right? So now
Right.
you're telling that person they should be excited about what you're showing them. It's
Right.
very subtle, but you don't have to say you should be excited about what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can draw it and then
Hmm.
their brain is going to interpret that
Absolutely.
as,
Right.
oh, this is an exciting thing that he's talking about.
Yep. Yep.
So, if you can kind of get your pitch down with that kind of stuff, I think it's really, really
Hmm.
powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. At the bottom, at the basics, I think it's worth checking out this book. You can pick up like, even if you're not getting a tablet like a Remarkable, pick up a one of these moleskins. I mean, that are at a bookstore, at a Target or something like that. That's got the storyboarding. It's
Hmm.
got the squares. Each square, and you can kind of just scribble in your ideas, your
Yeah,
graphic presentations.
and you can kind of perfect it so that when you do a
Hmm.
presentation, if you know your presentation's about the same every time,
Yep.
you could do it on a whiteboard in somebody's conference room.
Absolutely.
You could do it
Right.
on a paper flip chart in somebody's.
Yep.
I saw a comedian one time that used a paper flip chart to do like a
Yeah.
stand up set,
Yep.
and it was hilarious. Like just the way he did it, like it was in such basic stuff, but it just
That's
took the
awesome.
whole routine to another level.
Sure.
Because it's a prop. It integrated some stuff, but it's super simple drawings, but it just
Right.
made the whole thing just unique and different. And most
Right.
people are going to come in, your competitors are going to come in with PowerPoint or something, basic.
Boring. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you can make it more in the
Exciting.
moment, it's
Yeah.
not even interactive, but it's in the moment,
Hmm.
I think it's just more interesting.
Right.
And interesting means they're paying better attention, which means they're going to hear more of what you're saying,
Right.
which means you've got a better chance of closing the sale.
Absolutely. Every time. I mean,
Yeah.
imagine your company's boring sales literature as opposed to you, creating a drawing series of drawings,
Yeah.
just simple drawings, presentations that you can put together and send to your customer.
Another example, this is a little bit more complicated and stuff like that, but Delta a couple of years ago, their flight safety briefings were very
Yep.
like comedic,
Right.
like and you actually watched them.
Oh yeah,
Because
exactly.
they were kind of funny. They were kind of Saturday
right.
Night Live-ish, and they had this little bit of humor to them, and they were kind of
Mhm.
funny,
Yep.
kind of like a mix between Saturday Night Live and the movie Airplane
Yep.
is what they reminded me of. and there's like, oh yeah, it's the first time I've watched a safety briefing in
Right.
10 years because it was
Right.
actually entertaining.
Sure.
Of course, if you fly a lot, you saw it every time, but at least the
Yeah.
first couple of times you watch
First
it,
couple of times it was really nuanced and
yeah,
you loved it. Yeah.
yeah. So it's kind of that same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so you
So
highly recommend that book?
Yeah. I mean, the bottom line is be different. I recommend it.
Yeah,
Do something different than the normal presentation. And that's kind of what Rome talks about is like, you know, if you're pitching, do something different to create that when you're creating that presentation, don't do it on a PowerPoint slide. Create something that's unique and that's tailored to your audience that you can create yourself. So
you know what I
if you're
think?
not very good if you're terrible at drawing,
Yeah,
guess what? You can go over to Fiverr and you can have somebody storyboard out for yourself. I mean,
yeah,
from the basic standpoint, everybody can draw a stick figure. Well, most people can draw a stick figure. But even if you're not confident in doing a drawing type of presentation, sketch out your ideas or scratch out your ideas, go over to fiverr.com and hire, a drawer, somebody that's an artist on there to sketch out your storyboard for you. So
I bet there's a book on Amazon about how to draw a basic cartoon strip.
I'm sure there is.
You
I'm
know,
sure there is.
if you've ever played Hangman, you can probably
That's
pull
right.
this off.
I think you could
Yeah.
every time.
So here's an idea for Jonathan. If you want to be different and you really want to
Okay.
stand out in your industry,
Yep.
you try this and let me know how it goes. Instead of doing drawings,
Mm-hmm.
you could take puppets.
Oh,
you could do hand puppets.
hand puppets. There you go.
Get your little setup, where you're
I
hide
like it.
behind the screen and you do hand puppets.
Hand puppets.
That would get some.
It would get some attention for sure.
Some conversations going for sure.
Yeah. And that's the whole point, is to get people talking, right?
Yeah. Or you show up in a unicorn onesie or something.
The last thing you want is for people to be apathetic to your company, to your product, to your service.
Yeah, I think about, and people are like, oh, that's so gimmicky.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we're kind of being, crazy with the hand puppets and stuff, but
sure.
I don't know, like you look
Right.
at people like Matthew Lesko with his Riddler suit, and the dollar bill suit, and like our buddy Tim Davis who wears the crazy clothes, like stuff works. Like
it does.
If you can remember it, if you've got the guts to do it, like characters work, props work, all the stuff works, but most of us are just too afraid to do it because we're afraid we'll look different. Yeah, but that's kind of the idea. Look different, be memorable.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of like that. You're kind of, people are lulled every day into the sameness of life, and whether it's business or everyday life. So what your job is to create something unique and different in their life that kind of wakes them up out of the out of that matrix.
Yeah. I had a coach one time, mentor, who told me, he's like, people may hate me, they may love me, but they will not ignore me.
They'll know. Yeah, exactly. Every time.
He knew what he was doing.
Sure.
He's like, some people are going to absolutely hate me. They're going to talk bad
and that's
about
okay.
me,
Right.
But they will not forget me, and they will probably keep watching because I'm a train wreck on, I'm just like a train wreck. They got to watch.
Absolutely. That's right. That's right. Yep.
Speaking of train wrecks.
Good segue.
I want to mention just real quick. We're about a week removed. We are a week removed from Black Friday as we're recording this.
Yeah, which is typically a train wreck.
So I'm curious. I had some takeaways for Black Friday, but we were gonna do an episode on Black Friday before. Ended up having a guest on.
Right.
I'm curious, like what you thought about. It felt very different this year. I don't know if you noticed it.
Yeah.
But to me, Black Friday was very different this year, and I think we've kind of entered a new phase.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I used to love, and I've never been a Black Friday, someone that participates in Black Friday, but I'm kind of one of those spectators of Black Friday that I always love to tune into the, whether it's Drudge Report or or what have you, to kind of see like what mayhem
Who
is
stampeded who?
yeah, who stampeded who, like which Walmart throughout the country you know got the most hits in terms of activity, or
Yeah. Didn't see any
melees,
of
or
those stories this year. I
no,
didn't.
you didn't. I
Yeah.
don't see it. So
So I think there's a couple things going on. So one is from our buddy, Eugene Schwartz, Breakthrough
mhm,
Advertising, which we
yeah,
covered early on in this episodes, probably 10 through 20.
yep,
And he talks about market sophistication and how as the market gets more sophisticated, you have to do more and more stuff until eventually it kind of rolls back around.
sure,
So it's instead of like, you know, lose 10 pounds this year, it's all of a sudden it's lose 20 pounds in 90
right,
days. And then it's
right,
like lose 90 pounds in 20 days.
right,
And then people just stop believing you and you have to go back to the basics and kind of
yep.
pull all the way back around. And I kind of feel like that's where we are with Black Friday.
Interesting.
I feel
Yeah,
like the market has gotten sophisticated enough to the sales that, two big indications of that this year were both Target and Walmart stayed closed on Thanksgiving.
yep,
And the previous trend had been to open earlier and earlier on Thanksgiving Day and not
right,
even wait
right,
till Black Friday.
yeah,
And now they were both closed on Black Friday and they say they'll stay closed from now on. I don't know if that's true. We'll see.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it,
yeah,
because I wonder how much of supply chain problems plays into that.
right. Yeah. Was that just a supply chain? Was it like, oh, we survived, COVID being shut down. So maybe we
Right.
can do it one more year.
Sure. Yeah.
They said it was for their employees, but I seriously doubt that. Um, but
We're cynics by nature.
yeah,
Can you tell?
but the fact is like, that was there. The other big trend I saw was the Black Friday all month long.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw that starting like November 1st, right after Halloween. You saw it like Black Friday all month long, Black Friday
Yeah.
prices all month long, which is going to naturally spread out, the sales from Black Friday to the entire month.
Sure.
So that was a big one I saw. Let's see what was, and it made me think like, I'm not even, I had this conversation in a group that I coach, a lot of e-commerce people, and they were asking, should I do a Black Friday sale or not? And I was like, I don't think you should,
Right.
unless you're in there's a few niches where I think it might make sense, but for a lot of the people, I don't think it makes sense. And
Right.
I compared it to Groupon.
Mm-hmm.
And Black Friday is basically like a 1-day Groupon type event. And for those, is Groupon even still around? I don't even know if it is or isn't.
I don't see any Groupon anymore.
Yeah.
So
But you remember back when Groupon was really popular,
yep.
after a while, people started figuring out that Groupon was actually putting companies out of business,
Yep.
especially smaller companies,
Yep.
because people would come in for the discount, but they would
Mhm.
never be repeat buyers. And it would just destroy the businesses
Yeah.
that had a big Groupon day.
Right.
And I think Black Friday has the same risk, especially for smaller people.
Yeah.
So I think you have to be careful with that. But yeah, just a couple trends I saw is people actually having hot list email
Mm-hmm.
for Black Friday offers. They would send out an email ahead of time that said, "Hey, I'm going to be doing a Black Friday promotion, but I don't want to bombard you. So if you want to hear about it, sign up
Yeah.
here."
Sure.
So they were segmenting their list. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to hear about it, you don't have to do anything. Just,
Right.
you won't hear about it.
Yep.
I thought that was a really good idea.
It is. It's yeah, they're getting really, really specific there. I mean, you have to kind of, they're kind of narrowing their focus there on
And it's
who they
giving you a
want
chance to
to.
opt out if you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to hear about it. But if you do want to hear about it and you like the deals, you could sign up for
Right.
the deals. So
Right.
I think that was good. So
Yeah.
those are some of the big trends I saw this year. Did you see anything else beside that?
No, I didn't see a whole lot. The one thing I pay attention to is, you notice like the companies that sell on premium and value,
Mm-hmm.
like Apple,
Right.
um, you'll never hear a Black Friday sale from them. So
Nope.
that just tells you something.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I didn't see any Black Friday sales from Apple.
I got a few more emails from them, but I didn't get there were no
Like,
deep discounts or anything.
no,
There was no 75% off MacBooks.
no.
In fact, I don't think
So,
there was a 5% off MacBook.
so here's the thing: you may get messages from Apple about like related to the holiday,
Yeah.
which I don't even remember getting that, but
I did get a few of those. They had some holiday gift ideas,
gift ideas. Yeah,
but it wasn't sales.
not sales. No,
Yeah.
because you're not going to get a sale from Apple.
Yeah.
And I think to me that's and we've talked about this from time in the past. We're in Apple's ecosystem, so it's a little different from us. But I'm trying to think from somebody outside of that ecosystem. Apple comes across as they don't do. I mean, they don't abide by those deep discounts or 20% off, 30% off.
Yep.
It's not about it's about providing value in different ways than just slashing the price. And I think from a standpoint of creating value, I, that's fine with me, right?
Yeah.
As long as they're upholding their end on the value that they create.
Yeah.
I don't care about the price as long as they're creating the products, the performance that they've been known for in the past. And they've made some mistakes like we've talked about in the in times past, but they have actually some of the recent MacBooks show that they've listened to a lot of the
they put some ports back in.
They put some ports back in, so
Put that
they've
SD card port back in.
So they've actually listened to the consumer and changed some things, which is probably bringing a lot of people back. So,
or at least keeping them from looking elsewhere.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, I had actually written down on my little card here. I got little blue note cards like David Letterman or whoever. Like, why do all the network shows? Have you ever noticed that they have blue cards?
Yeah.
But then they're usually like white paper pasted onto the blue card. I don't know what that's about, but for some reason,
the blue that's facing you, right?
Yeah. So the blue is facing the audience, but then on the other side, every once in a while, you'll see it's basically paper printed, cut out and on there. But I don't know.
Blue is a trustworthy color.
I guess. I don't know. It's
blue is
why do they use blue cards?
All about trust.
I'm gonna have to look that up. But I have that on my list, like Apple versus JCPenney versus Kohl's.
Okay.
So Apple, they don't change their pricing for Black Friday. JCPenney, deep discounts, try that. And Kohl's is just always got discounts. Everything at Kohl's is always 80% off. Nobody shops there when there's normal prices. They wait till there's sales.
Right.
And I love their tagline. It's like getting paid to shop. And they show you the little receipt, like you saved $6,000 on a $50 sale.
Right.
And what's crazy is it kind of works.
It does, because it makes you feel like you've accomplished something.
Because the receipt literally prints out. You saved $6,000, on this $50 sale, and then the cashier has a red pen at their thing where they circle it, and then hand it to you.
Super smart on their part, right?
So it's like, if you're gonna play the pricing game, to be like Kohl's and go all in.
Yeah.
You have to know your market too. I mean, a JCPenney shopper is not the same as an Apple.
Yeah.
Tiffany's is another one that's not going to discount their prices. You know, it's like you pay what you pay. Like, this is what we have.
Right.
So,
but I think the smart thing they do, if they're not going to discount their prices, they make it easy for you as a consumer to purchase, right?
Yep.
Hey, we can spread out your payments.
Yeah. Or they make you feel special, or they make you feel some other thing.
Apple, going back to Apple, they got their Apple Pay.
Right.
Totally interest free. You spread that bad boy out. You don't want to spend. You want to spend $5,000 on a a new an iMac. Hey, no problem. You spread that thing out, right?
No
interest free.
Spread out for 2 years until the next model comes out.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll get you
Interest
then.
free, man. We're not charging you any interest, and we'll make it easy for you to pay. You just go
Yep.
to the Apple Pay setting on your phone,
Yep.
and boom, all you got to do is click a payment every month.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Remember the days when maybe you don't remember this, but that was like the Finger Hut. You remember the Finger Hut catalog?
Oh,
Like
yes,
before
yes.
you had credit, or
Mhm.
if you had bad
Right.
credit,
Yep.
like
Yep.
you get the
That's right.
Finger Hut catalog
That's right.
at Christmas, and you're like, oh, I can get something kind of cool. It's just 56 weekly payments of however much money,
That's right.
you know?
That's right.
And it's kind of coming back again with like Klarna Pay and like
It
all these
is.
Affirm Pay,
Really.
where they're breaking up payments into
Mhm.
whatever, 4, 5, 6, 12
Yeah.
payments, whatever it is.
Right.
Um, I mean, that's something to think about. I saw r- just a really good example of this. I was looking at a online information course. It was like how to make money doing X, Y, Z, whatever.
Mm.
And it was a typical, online marketing course.
Mhm.
The next greatest way to be a millionaire in 30 seconds or less. And I'm
That's
like, this is
awesome.
kind of cool. And
Yeah.
but what he did with his pricing, I thought was really cool.
Mhm.
It's kind of off Black Friday, but it just kind of speaks to the payments and that kind of thing. He gave 3 options.
Mhm.
It was like you can pay monthly. It was
Mhm.
like $148 a month, cancel anytime. You get full access to the course, nothing held back. You could pay annually and save, it was like 12, if I remember the numbers correct, it was like 1248 if you paid
Sure.
annually.
Right.
So you saved, 20% or whatever it was. And then you could get a lifetime membership for 1997,
Mhm.
which if you're a listener in the internet marketing world, 1997 is kind of the
Oh,
go-to
yeah.
price for a high-end
Absolutely.
course.
Right.
But I thought that was really cool how he took the 1997 course price and made that a lifetime offer.
Mhm.
Then he made the 1200 or so kind of the annual offer,
Mhm.
and then had a monthly option for people who maybe are a little bit more skeptical,
Right.
don't know if they want to commit, they want to try it out.
Mhm.
There's a monthly offer. And I thought that was really, really smart
Oh, sure.
because, if you just have a course out there for 1997 and people say no to it, maybe they can't afford it, maybe they're just
Mhm.
a little skeptical, they're not sure. Then if you don't get that, you get nothing,
Right.
right?
Right.
But if they say, you know what, I'll give this 30 days
Mhm.
and they take the $148 a month, that probably covered your ad costs for 3 or 4 other sales at 1997.
Yes. Right.
And you don't lose anything because it's an information product. It's like
Right.
you're not going to lose anything. There's no cost of goods other than you've
Sure.
already had all your cost of goods. You've already created the
Mhm.
course, so now all your cost is marketing. So
Yep.
I thought that was just a really smart way to get people into your world.
Yeah.
And, they'll probably stick around for 4 to 6 months as they try to figure it out. But I would also guess they're less because that was a cancel any time as opposed to a
Mhm.
refund,
Mhm.
and same thing for the lifetime even. So if it's 1997 lifetime, there's really you're not going into that with a refund mindset.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're like, I want to try the course out, but I'm not sure, then you're going to want to see the refund guarantee
Yep.
and you're much more likely to pull the trigger on the refund,
Mhm.
because you didn't have any other options.
Right.
But if you've got a monthly option, you're like, well, I'll try it for 3 months. If it doesn't work, I'm out $450, or whatever it is,
Yeah. Big deal.
and maybe I learned something, whatever.
Yeah.
But I know going in. So I just thought that was a really smart pricing strategy from this guy, to
Yeah.
offer those 3 different payments and to reposition it from this is a set price for a course to
Mhm.
this is and one of the reasons he could do that is because there's a community in it.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense that there would be an ongoing charge because that's part of what you get access to, which a lot
Right.
of courses have anyway.
Yep.
But I just thought it was really smart, a way to do that. And he ran that over Black Friday. But I was like, that's a cool way to do pricing.
Yeah, it is. It is. And most marketers know that especially down around this time of year, most people don't get to stuff. They've got, um, some will, but some are just busy, with so many different things going on towards the end
Yep.
of the year with holidays and everything. And they're like, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that. But they'll throw money, like they'll throw money after money. Just they're like, well, I haven't gotten to that, but I don't want to lose it because I've already invested the money, right?
Yeah.
I haven't had the time to check it out and go through and get the value out of that. But something tells me in the back of my mind, there's a lot of value. I
Yeah.
just haven't had a chance to really delve into it. And that's that's my fault. That's not the company's fault. I mean, that's not their fault. So,
Yeah.
so a lot of people are kind of, they understand that. I mean,
Yeah. So
human nature, like we talked about last episode, with Ryan, like, people by nature are lazy. And that's no shame. I mean, that's just how human nature is. That's what they gravitate to, the path of least resistance. They don't do anything this time of year, especially this time of year, the holidays coming up. And so they'll continue to throw money because they feel guilty. I didn't do anything. So, but I didn't get the value. So I'm going to continue to invest in that.
yeah. And I think that's, especially in the information marketing world, I think people will jump on a Black Friday and be like, "Oh, I'll get to that later. It's
I'll
such a
get to
good
that
price
later.
that I'll,
Exactly.
that I'll go ahead and grab it, and then I'll consume it later." And then, most people won't.
Right.
But it was
But
such a
then they
good
feel
deal.
guilty for not, so they'll continue to invest and maintain. Like if it's a continuity, they will continue to invest in
Yeah.
that because of their own, not from the standpoint of the product or the service of the company, but from their own, neglection, their own failings of not taking part, not
Yeah.
not utilizing that, and
And I
so
think you
that's
can
on
do
them.
the same thing in any area that's kind of New Year's resolution.
Right.
That's our next big marketing push is like New
Yeah.
Year's resolutions.
Sure.
We'll have to start talking about that. But,
Hmm.
if you can get people on board now to kind of
Yeah.
create momentum before the big push and,
Hmm.
hey, lay the groundwork before New Year's Day.
Right.
Here's the 6 things you need to get in order before you start your resolutions. Those kind of messages will really resonate over this next 30 days or so.
Absolutely. Yeah. No doubt.
So,
Good stuff.
yeah. So, next week, our next episode, we've got a guest coming in, a friend of
Oh
mine.
yeah. Awesome.
Um,
Looking
his
forward to that.
name is Greg, and he's done some cool stuff in the e-commerce space, and he's learned some interesting things. He's got a subscription box business, so we'll talk to him a little bit about that in a very
Cool.
unique niche, and we'll just talk about some other things he's learning. Should be a fun episode with somebody that's
Awesome.
kind of out there in the trenches doing a real physical products business, delivering e-commerce stuff and what he's learning.
Ooh, that's gonna be
And
fun.
yeah, that'll be a fun episode. So make sure you tune in
Awesome.
for that one.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Yeah. So that's next Friday, which will be the 10th, I believe.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that. We'll be posting a link. Sean, I think you'll set things up with him. So
Yeah.
looking forward to it, man. That's gonna be fun next week.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. To all of our listeners, thanks for tuning in. You can find us over at persuasionbythepint.com. You can find us on all of your podcast platforms, channels, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Radio, you name it. We're there. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next episode. Thanks.
See ya.
See ya. All right. Cool stuff.
Yeah.